Here we go again. So recently, a Japanese politician by the name of Ichita Yamamoto has been voicing his concerns over his belief that anime and video games are influencing people to commit heinous crimes. So what crimes is it exactly that he believes are influenced by anime and manga, or anime and video games, you may ask? Well, this is a big one here, prepare yourself, but there was a guy in Japan who was recently arrested for having murdered 9 people, and how he would do this was, and this was over the span of 2 months, he created a Twitter account luring people who had suicidal thoughts over to his apartment so that he could assist them in their suicide, and reportedly, from what I can tell from some of these articles here, is that he would sexually assault some of them. They're mostly women. 8 women, 1 man, and he would sexually assault them, murder them, cut up their body parts, and then he would hide their body parts in cat litter. It's really disgusting, and to be honest with you, I mean, obviously, this guy is totally demented, and there's something wrong with him, but anime did not cause this. I've seen a lot of anime, and there's never been an anime that encouraged anybody to do any crime whatsoever, never to murder anybody, never to even hurt anybody, or at least that I've seen. And then you have, of course, obviously, this particular crime, it's totally insane to even assume that this is something that's brought on by anime. The only link that I can really see that this politician is saying, well, hey, we need more legislation on anime and video games, is because this guy had a drawn avatar on his Twitter page where he had, like, choke marks around his neck from where he was trying to hang himself, and then, like, cuts on his wrists and stuff. It's just a cartoon character that he drew. Obviously, he's living in Japan, he's drawing a cartoon guy. Obviously, it's going to look something like an anime character. That's kind of, anybody can draw the comparison to that, I think. But the truth is, something like this, you can't really, I hate the fact that I'm talking about people thinking the wrong way about anime when so many people were just murdered. I feel like I'm just overlooking this mountain of terrible things that happened just to talk about anime, but that's what I talk about on this channel. I talk about anime here, and I'm really tired of people putting all sorts of crime and all sorts of negative things on anime. Yes, anime does have its problems, but I don't believe that this is something that people are getting influence from in order to commit all of these crimes. So it seems like the entirety of his argument is based on his belief that there's a lot of people watching anime who can't differentiate the differences between fiction or fantasy and reality. And this is something that I think if somebody does something, we need to start blaming the individual, because it's pretty much come to a point where everything has to be legislated and restricted in order to penalize 99.9% of the people in order to stop the 0.1% of people from doing something, instead of just blaming the 0.1%. So keep in mind, I don't know anything about Japanese law, but what I do see here are parallels between what this guy is saying and trying to accomplish and what people are trying over here in the States, because there's always going to be that 0.1% of people out there that it's going to take something that people use in their lives that are totally innocent and never going to hurt anybody in their life, and they take this and they stand out and they do terrible things with it. But then you have people that will try and regulate everybody else, the 99.9% of people, just because there's somebody out there who is in most cases mentally unfit. And I feel like the majority of times we have a massive issue over here in the States. I can't speak for Japan, but I do know over here in the States we have a massive issue with people who have mental disabilities who are not getting the care that they need, and they go out and commit a crime like this. But also on top of that, I can't speak for Japan, like I said, to even speculate, but I do know we already have a lot of laws over here, and the majority of times when somebody that is mentally unfit does one of these crimes, it's usually somewhere along the line somebody failed to abide by the law, whether they saw something and didn't say something, whether the person got in trouble for something and slid under the radar here. I'm not trying to get too political or anything and name specific instances, which I would love to do, but I feel like this is not really the best platform to do that, because I just talk about anime here, but that is essentially the issue here, and I think that people shouldn't really try and limit the experience of 99.9% of the population. And keep in mind, of course, I do feel bad for everybody affected by really any crime, but adding more laws when the laws that we have weren't working is not the correct solution, I don't think, because it's already against the law to kill people. It's already against the law to do so many of these things that these people do, but the truth is, either if they're a criminal criminal or if there's somebody who is mentally unfit, chances are they don't really care and they're going to break the law anyway. So adding more law is not exactly going to help the situation. People are always going to find a way. Evil will always find a way. And I think in instances like this, where you have somebody luring people to their house to kill them, you can't blame anime for that. Just like you can't blame the Xbox 360 that somebody used in 2013, where a man brutally murdered his girlfriend by taking his Xbox 360, beating her over the head until she was unconscious, and then stabbing her to death. Just like you can't name, this is another odd one here, but there was an instance in Brazil in 2013 where a woman wanted to poison her husband. She put poison into her own vagina, and the guy, she was trying to get the guy to go down on her, and so that she would poison him, but little did she know that, of course, that's going to poison her as well. Neither of them died. She was rushed to the hospital, and there's so many crimes. You can't take away pressure cookers from people. You can't take away trucks from people. You can't take away knives from people. Evil will always find a way, but it's up to us to find ways to, if we see something that is wrong, we need to let somebody know about it. It's up to the people who catch these people for these crimes to let them go back out there, realizing that they may just pursue other ways to commit the same crime or do something even worse. Okay, so addressing the issue of people not being able to tell the difference between fantasy and reality, what are you gonna do about it? Let's say, hypothetically, 100% of anything fantasy out there affected 100% of the people to do bad things. Are you gonna stop fantasy? Are you gonna stop people from creating fantasy literature, fantasy anime, fantasy movies? And even then, what will you have left at that point? You'll have things that happen in reality or history. It's going to be 100% historically accurate. So are you saying that we didn't have a violent history all of a sudden? Or is history now going to influence people to do bad things as well? The only way you will stop people that are the 0.01% of the population that are going to do these bad things from watching these bad things is to stop 100% of these sorts of entertainment from being created. 100% of any entertainment from being created, any sort of storytelling medium. You'll have to stop all of that. And I think people are overlooking the mountain for the mole here. The issue is with the individual. It's like they said, they can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality. So why is it anime's fault? Why is it video games' fault? Why is it the fault of music? People are just getting so tired of hearing politicians, people in the news, or pop culture icons just talk out about these minor little issues that need to get fixed when they're overlooking the greater problem here. And anybody who's a fan of any sort of alternative entertainment, which somehow or another video games is so mainstream now that everybody plays them, but the stigma from the early 1990s is still around, where it's influencing people to do bad things. When it started with Mortal Kombat, oh no, little 5-year-old Timmy might want to uppercut his little sister's head off and have it fly, you know, it's Mortal Kombat. Obviously this stuff is so bizarre that nobody's going to want to try this stuff, but people blame it. Any sort of alternative music that people listen to, any sort of anime, or really any sort of alternative entertainment that people experience and enjoy, it's always under fire for supposedly influencing bad people. Yet nobody blames Fast and Furious for car accidents out there. It's always people pointing at these things that only like a small pocket of the community actually enjoys. I don't know how the stigma of video games stuck around so long. It's like recently we had somebody from NBC go out there and try and make this video documentary or whatever, this video piece, where they were saying that video games are leading people to the alt-right, along with Discord as well. What has Discord got to do with it? So why is it Discord all of a sudden? Why isn't it Skype? Oh, that's owned by Microsoft there. Why isn't it Facebook? Why isn't it email? Why isn't it any other sort of messaging system that's out there on the internet? There are so many different apps and websites that you can go to talk to so many people. Why are they singling specifically out Discord here? And on top of that, the video was so asinine as well, because it's just pushing the envelope a little bit further. It's taking the far extreme of people, which people don't like them. They are also a minority within the country as well, but they use these far examples of people who are totally and obviously racist people, and then they try to apply that to more and more and more people. So you get people that are just minding their own business and just love everybody that are labeled as racist just because they want a certain thing, or they have a certain political belief. I am done with my rant now. I wasn't even sure if I was going to make this video, to be honest with you, because this is a serious situation. 9 people lost their lives, and I'm up here complaining about anime. But I talk about anime, therefore it is relevant to the people that watch this. It's not the same as the time when the girl burned her house down and people blame the Soul Eater manga for that, which they did. And of course that has nothing to do with each other, but nobody died in that situation. People died in this, and I know that is an egregious tragedy that happened, and I'm up here talking about anime. But it's like I said, it's relevant because this is an anime channel, and I think it's important that I do talk about these things and make people know that there's so many great people that watch anime out there, and you can't change something just because 0.01% of the people or 0.1% of the people out there are doing something bad with it. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to share it if you feel like there are people out there that need to hear this message or would like to hear this message. And also, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. If you really enjoy these videos in this channel, consider heading over to the Patreon and supporting with at least $1 there, because you know this video is going up yellow and I'm not getting a dime off of it just because that's how YouTube works. It's been that way for my videos for the past 2 weeks actually, pulling these sometimes 10, 12 or more hour days working on videos. So, you know, your support is definitely what keeps these videos going at these points. So there's plenty of bonuses there. You get to recommend videos early, you get to see my videos early if I have them early, and then also there's the Patreon Discord chat where we talk, and we also watch anime together from time to time as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.